Hey there, More here, and thank you for joining me on my channel today. We're going to discuss a Force Affinity rare champion that's an attack and damage based healer, Chaplain. I've been sleeping on her. I didn't realize how much utility she actually had until I got into her kit for this video. But the biggest question is really when it comes down to it, have you been sleeping on her? So today we're talking about Chaplain and just what she can do and just what she has and what she can bring to the table for your account. So Chaplain, she's a Force Affinity rare champion. She's a support-based champion. She is also an attack damage champion. Her kit, her A1, attacks one enemy, just a plain Jane, simple, nothing fancy, one hit A1 that has damage scaling when you do book her up. Her A2, however, is a little bit different. Removes all debuffs from a target ally, then heals the target. The heal amount is proportional to this champion's attack. That's pretty nice. Most heals from most healers are actually based off of the target that you're healing and usually their HP. Most heals are based off an HP stat in general, and most healers are actually based off of the target's HP. So the champion you're healing, not this champion's stats in any way, shape, or fashion. For example, let's set up here. Let's check out Apothecary. The beast, the demigod Apothecary in this game, right? Everybody loves him. One reason why is because of his 2-turn cooldown heal. Heals a target ally by 35% HP. That's 35% of the target's HP, not his HP. Go back over here to Chaplain. Her A2 heals the heal amount is proportional to this champion's attack. That's rare. It's usually not based off attack, and it's usually based off the target. So this way, I like this better. Not necessarily the attack stat, but I like it the fact that it's based off of this champion's stats. That means you get to control how much of a heal you actually do because it's based off of this champion's stats, not off of the target's stats. For example, like Captain Temila places a 60% increased defense buff, which is fine, but heals all allies by 15% of this champion's HP. Those are the pretty ones. That kind of healing stat is what you want in a healer because you get to control how much the actual heal is, which means you can have, for example, this Chaplain here, a bunch of attack stat, so a large heal, throw it on a champion that has little HP, and you overheal them, or you max out their HP just like that. Because you get to control how much you actually heal them by. It's not a proportion of their heal or their HP. Her A3, though, attacks all enemies, heals all allies by 25% of the damage inflicted. Again, another healing skill that is tweaked and different than most healers. Most healers are based off of HP. Here you go, just boom. Here you go, done. But she's got damage built in there too. Attacks all enemies, attacks all enemies. It's an AoE attack too. Heals all allies by 25% of the damage inflicted. So the more enemies out there, the more damage she can do, the more healing capability she has. Some champions have something similar, where an AoE skill or AoE attack. I don't have my Painkeeper handy or close by. He's one of them I'm thinking about right now. But her heal is attacks all enemies, then heals your allies by, I think it's like 15% of her HP. So it's based off of her HP, but it's not based off the damage. Attacks all enemies, heals all allies, based off the damage dealt. Let's get into some content real quick. Let me show you what she's about, and then I'll get into her build, and I'll show you her build and just what I've got her going with. We're going to go with stage 10. We're not going to go big. We're not going to go high. Stage 10, but if you see, I've also got a small team there. I've tried to tweak it down a little more relatable to you and your content possibly out there. I got 4 level 40s, 1 level 31, it's a 5-star. So I got 4 4-stars out here. They're going to run this on fully auto. If you also can't tell, they're full support. It's a full support, full healing team. Not heal, sorry. Full support team. Look at this. Boom. Cleared wave 1 with that AoE attack. That was Chaplain and her AoE damage and her heal. Let's keep an eye on Chaplain and how much crit damage she's actually doing out there, how hard she's actually hitting. Now, yes, she is off Force Affinity. We are fighting Magic Affinity, so she is got the Affinity benefit in her corner here. She's a strong Affinity. She just did 11,000 to that champion there. Took him down. She's rolling. My 5-star is only doing 6,000 crits. My 4-star Chaplain is doing 10,000 plus crits every single time. She is built for damage. Why? Because her heal is based off of her attack. Her heal is based on and scales off of how much damage she actually does. So you want to build her and scale her off of her attack and her damage. You don't want to build her like a typical healer or a typical support where you've got speed and HP and turn cycling. You want her off of her damage. Yes, you still want that speed. Don't get me wrong, just like any other champion. You want her to take turns. You want her to cycle back through because her heals are there whenever she takes a turn. Almost every single time at least, right? Because you got some cooldowns, but you still want to cycle through. So 13,000 against that champion. 13,000 against the add-on. She can hit. She's only 4-star. Yes, I am in level 10, but remember, I also don't have a massive Great Hall either, especially for Force Affinity. My Force Affinity, my Great Hall has been neglected because I don't use Force Affinity very often. So that's not a benefit there. She is just doing this on her own. 10, 10, and 7 from that AoE. 10, 10, and 7 from the AoE. She's healing our champions by multiple thousands of HP every time she does that AoE. Let's cycle it through. We'll see it through. We'll see just how much healing she's actually doing to our champions if we get another turn. They're going through this golem pretty quick here. Almost done. Let's roll, you guys, though. Let's see if we can get Chaplain to do another AoE. 14,000 crit. Cleared that add-on. Probably would have cleared that add-on 100% one-shotting it. From a level 40. A 4-star. Let's go. Come on, Chaplain. One more AoE is all we want. Let's see if we can't get through. Frigid Vengeance. That might be the last one. We'll see. Now, reflect damage actually with like 2,000 to 4,000 heals per target. She did like 10,000 heal in that attack, in that AoE. She can heal some stuff up. She can put out some damage. That spot heal of hers as well removes debuffs. Pretty clutch, pretty critical, especially in a dungeon like this. So if you need help getting through that mid-game of that Ice Golem, she can definitely help. Chaplain put up 216,000 damage. My 5-star, Adriel, 27,000. Chaplain put up almost twice as much damage by herself. She can do some damage. Now let's get into her kit real quick. Let's get into her and show you just how I've got her built. So potentially you can try to mimic her build in some capacity. You want to build her kind of like a nuker. You want to build her for damage, and you want to build her for speed. So I've actually got, as you can see here, total stats. I got her built with a little bit of sustainability here. So she's got 18,000 HP. So she has some durability to be able to take a hit or two. Her attack is 1,680. That spot heal, remember, is based off of her attack stats. So you want that attack stat up, because the higher that stat gets up, the more damage, the more healing she will get to do against her spot heal for her allies here. Her defense is only 884. Like I said, I built her for damage. Not necessarily glass cannon because she's got 18,000 HP, but I was kind of ignoring the defense because I want her to put damage out. Her speed is 156. Not too bad, but she was actually one of the slowest on the team because, remember, when you build a heal, when you build a support, you want them built fast because the supports is what keeps your team alive. So you want them to cycle through. So she was on a team with nothing but supports. They're all built to go fast. She would just happen to be one of the slowest ones out there. But 156 is not a bad stat. Again, she's a healer. So you also want her to go fast as well. It works out twofold because she goes fast, she gets to heal, she goes fast, she gets to do damage. You clear the waves even faster, right? Her crit rate is 112%. So if I happen to take her against a green affinity content, she's going to ignore and negate that 115% crit rate that you need to get that guaranteed crit. Because you started that negative 15% against the off affinity, right? However, she cannot get around that 30% chance to weak hit, unfortunately. But with this much crit, the other 70%, she will almost always crit. There's that 3% chance where she won't do it. Her crit damage is only 98%. If I can get her to 200% crit damage, imagine how much damage she'd be doing. She's at 98. She get to 200% crit damage. Instead of doing 10,000 to the golem, she's doing 20,000 to the golem. She can put out some damage. Her debuff, her accuracy, and her resistance. Her accuracy is null and void. She's got no enemy champion manipulation. She does need resistance, so she doesn't get debuffed very often. But hey, you know what? It's not entirely too high. It could be higher. She's got room for improvement, right? Look at her skills. Sorry, look at her sets. I've got her in a crit damage and a double cruel set. Cruel set's got the ignore 5% enemy defense, so she ignores 10% of the enemy defense plus 20% crit damage, and I'm still only at 98%. You can see my items over there. They're not the best. I do have legendaries. I do have 5 stars. I got 1 6-star out there. A couple 16s. But still, she's only level 40. Imagine how much damage she would do if she was 60. Imagine how much healing she could do if she was 60. Potentially, she could be your sole healer if she was fast enough, dealt enough damage, and also a DPS. Thank you for joining me through the video all the way through. I greatly appreciate your support. If you got value from this video, if you got value from looking at and checking out Chaplain and her kit, go and hit that like and subscribe button down below. Join the community because together we are on a mission to create the most comprehensive library of champion guides that the Raid Shadow Legends community has ever seen and will ever see. See you there. Thanks again.